Welcome to episode 361 of the EVERBLACK podcast. On this episode, we are joined by Anton Kabanen from Beast in Black, whose new album, From Hell with Love, comes out this week on February 8. We spoke about all the influences behind the album and their tour they did with Nightwish, and things also got a little geeky as well, as we spoke about his love of manga, anime, and our own action figure collections and what we collect. That was pretty cool. He's just a really, really cool guy, and it was just a fun chat. And the album itself is just phenomenal. It's heavy. It's got all these 80s influences. It's good driving music. Pumps you up. It's one hell of a ride. All right, before my chat with Anton, we just have to mention that this episode is brought to you by Blacklight Art and Design, who are the go-to for all our screen printing needs. They've done all our shirts and hats for EVERBLACK Media, and they've got such a quick turnaround. I highly recommend checking these guys out. Go to www.blacklightad.com.au. The show is also brought to you by our good friends at RW Promotion, who are the best in the biz when it comes to stickers, flyers, banners, badges, and all other promo you need for your band or business. Check them out at www.rwpromotion.com.au. Also want to give a shout out to the boys at Lumberpunks Axe Throwing Club, who now have two venues in Queensland, one in Miami and the Gold Coast, and the other in West End in Brisbane. Lumberpunks Axe Throwing is a destination suitable for solo adventurers, date nights, bucks nights, birthday parties, hens nights, all different types of occasions. It's just a hell of a lot of fun, and it doesn't matter what music you listen to either, because you get to choose the soundtrack while you're chucking axes like a badass. It's so much fun. All sessions are 1.5 hours in length and comprise of a safety induction, instruction on tactical tomahawks and hatchets, and then competitive play with your mates. Now, if you mention EVERBLACK in your booking notes, you receive 10% off your session. Terms and conditions apply. So, yeah, get onto it, guys. And shout out to Lumberpunks for giving us that discount for all our listeners. Thanks, guys. They're legends. Absolute legends. All right, here is my chat with Anton from Beast in Black. Enjoy. Anton, how are you, man?
Very nicely, thank you. Just getting ready for the upcoming headline tour and album release. So there's a lot of work, but it's a good thing.
Absolutely. The new Beast in Black album, From Hell with Love, comes out on February 8. And first things first, how cool is that album cover? Am I right?
Oh, thank you very much. Happy to hear that you like it. I'll tell this to the guy who made the album cover. He'll be happy.
Who came up with it?
It was based on a draft that Roman Ismailov made. That's the guy who made the cover, a good friend of mine. It wasn't actually the original idea, but in the end, it worked out better this way, that we used this draft and finished it into this album art. The thing is that he and I, we both like these guys like Boris Vallejo, Luis Royo, Ken Kelly, Frank Frazetta. We are a fan of their art. So with Roman, we've created lots of drafts and other stuff in the past. So it was again like a great thing to work with him on something new. And he really knows how to make the beast image for the band with his album covers. We like it very much, and we're happy that people seem to like it as well.
It's got to be on shirts, right? You can have that on shirts.
Yeah. There's, I think, already our label did some basic design based on that, which is, I think, available in their homepage, Nuclear Blast's homepage, somewhere there. And on tour, we're gonna sell also the T-shirts with that image. So
some of those shows have sold out. Am I right? That's a big tour. It's a pretty big tour.
Yeah, we have 30 shows or something coming up now in the spring. Most of them are in Finland and Germany, but some other countries as well. There's more sold out shows coming quite soon, because we're aware of the ticket sales, and we see that at some venues there's only not that many left, so there's more and more sold out shows coming up all the time. So it's very good. We didn't expect this. Like when the first album came out, we didn't have any expectations. We just hoped that that people would like it. We did what we could, and it went a lot better than what we expected. And same thing with this tour. We like took a risk, like any band takes a risk when they do their first headline tour, but that's necessary, and that's what every band wants to do also. And for a first headline tour, it's like, wow, like very great. We are very happy with the results already so far, but there's still some time and few weeks, and in that time, I think ticket sales are just going on all the time, so it's very nice.
Yeah, it's kick-ass news, mate. What a way to kick off 2019.
Indeed, awesome. Indeed.
You can't ask for anything more. Well, of course, I mean, the album itself is phenomenal. And I think the title track itself it's like a masterclass in songwriting alone. It's just insane. It seems the album's got a bit more of an 80s keyboard sort of drive to it. Is that where it sort of starts with when it comes to writing this material? Do you start with those ideas?
Every song is born differently. It can be, guitar riff, a vocal melody, or just a lyrical line, or a drum beat, or a keyboard riff. I can't really say that I have any specific way of starting a song. Like there's many ways, and we didn't aim to make an 80s, heavily 80s influenced album. I'm aware that I personally use a lot of 80s influences on most of my songs, but we just, when we had the songs, selected the songs for the album, one song one by one, and later we realized that, hey, okay, the wholeness is, after there was this 10-11 songs, we realized, okay, this is very 80s, especially at the time when you're in the studio and hearing the actual recorded versions of the songs, not just the MIDI versions, which are the first versions, since I write the stuff with Guitar Pro 4, which is a MIDI-based software. So yeah, it ended up having this strong 80s vibe. Everyone has been telling the same thing, but it definitely was not conscious, or the aim, but it's always going to be a part of Beast in Black, this 80s influence.
It's cool though. It sounds fresh.
Yeah, we all are.
It's...
yeah, I think the thing is that the songs that still play on the radio, these evergreen hits, many of them are from the 80s, and there's a reason for that, because those elements in those songs are something that still speak to people even today. It means there's something that stands the test of time, and when you write material similar to that, when you take those similar elements and combine it in a different way, that's what we are trying to do, and what I think people feel that, hey, this is something familiar that they are really comfortable with, because earlier when they heard something similar, it made them feel good. But since we combine it in some different ways, not exactly copying the past, it brings this freshness to it as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, for me, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm actually a really big fan of the original Transformers movie soundtrack. The one, Stan Bush, The Touch, and it's got all...
Yeah, I know. Yes, it's good.
It's, you know what I mean? So kind of for me, some of those little triggers that little part in my brain. So yeah, you definitely bang on there, man. It's really cool. Well, of course, I mean, you're an anime and manga fan too, I believe, and you've incorporated that into your lyrics. Is that something that, you grew up with before music? Was that there before music, or music was first?
I got my first guitar as 6 years old, and well, I remember, of course, I watched some cartoons before that, but anyway, music and older cartoons were at the same time in my life. And I still am a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Biker Mice from Mars, cartoons like that. And they had great soundtracks, in my opinion. I love that. Those opening themes always got the blood boiling in a good way, like positively. And the anime was also a part of my childhood, but not as strongly as it started to be later in, I think, 2006, when a good friend of mine, like childhood friend, introduced this Japanese Berserk manga and anime to me. Well, first anime, but I was hooked on it right away from the first episode. And after the last episode, I just it's such a cliffhanger of all times that I had to know what happens. So I just started to read the manga. And ever since, I've been like a huge fan of that and writing songs about Berserk. And that was the crucial year, I think, 2006, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you a collector as well? Because you mentioned Turtles. Because, man, you wouldn't believe it. You're mentioning that stuff. I'm literally in my office where to my left, I'm looking at my whole Turtles collection. In front of me, I've got my Biker Mice. And to the left, to the right, sorry, I've got all my Transformers, mate. Like, and real Ghostbusters as well. So you're just rattling off all my stuff.
Yeah, well, I do collect stuff, you know, whenever I see all like these cartoon figures, like action figures, I get those, and I collect also like dinosaurs, small dinosaurs. I have like this glass vitrine. There's almost 100 of those, and actually at the moment I'm looking at Rocksteady and Baxter Stockman. Like I have those next to my laptop here as well. Like I think these are the original toys, and I got them from Roman Ismailov, who made the album cover. He bought them to me like as a gift. He saw them in his in the city where he lives, and he brought them to me in Helsinki one day, I think last year or 2 years ago as well. And there's Berserk related like figures and items here, and all of them actually are gifts from fans and friends. So, but I do collect that stuff myself as well.
Oh, awesome, man. I'm all about metal and action figures. I'll send you a photo once we go off of the collection. I'm all about it, mate. I'm all about it. Well, you also toured with Nightwish. I could imagine that would have been one hell of a party. Who drank the most out of you guys?
Well, I think Kasperi and Atte are the other guitar player and the drummer. They're heavy beer drinkers, let's put it this way. That's their favorite drink. But it was like some days we partied more, some days less, but it was a great tour overall. The atmosphere was great. You know, it's like a bunch of friends together on the road. It was a huge crew. You know, Nightwish is such a big band that it's like 60 people or something, or 50 people like overall. So, but you know, the band itself, the Nightwish and the crew, everyone was great towards us, very helpful, and we had great time after every show. We went to meet fans at the merch desk, and we had so many new fans. They told us like often that, hey, we've never even heard of you, and now we're like big fans of yours, and that's the like best thing that we can hope for from that kind of a tour. And that was the whole purpose. Like when you go on tour, you have, as a new band, you have to gather as much new fans as possible, and that was very helpful regarding our upcoming headline tour, because that also helped the ticket sales for this upcoming tour a lot. We played for so many people in Europe in those same cities where we're returning in a month or 1.5 months from now. So from every perspective, I think it was a great tour. Yeah, and the chemistry within Beast in Black was great. You know, 6 weeks we just had fun. Like apart from drinking, we also had Nintendos in the bus. Like originally it was PlayStation 4, and when I noticed it, I was like, hey, I'm not gonna touch that. In Germany, like I think first day when we went to Germany, I think it was the fourth show or third show. I went to this shop and bought this 2 mini Nintendos, like Mini NES and Mini SNES, and plug them into the bus TV and play those instead of the PlayStation 4. Like all the old games, from the 80s and 90s. Great stuff.
I've seen those, but my biggest disappointment is a couple of games on there that they didn't have, like the old Turtles game, like the arcade one, Turtles 2. Yeah. That was my favorite. Yeah. But you can always emulate them.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Another one is you're singing Giannis. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, as a vocalist, I think, especially on this one, he just smashes it out of the park. There's stuff on there that I've been trying to learn vocally, and it's just insane. Like some of the stuff he's done is just crazy, man.
Yeah, he is kind of a freak of nature, so to speak, in a good way, because he's very hungry to improve himself as a singer. He never settles for like something like half-assed job. When in the studio, he's always like giving 100%, and even if I'm happy with some results, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, this is great already. And sometimes he's like, no, he wants to try more, like just to be sure that there's enough like great takes from which to choose the final takes to do the editing. And in live shows, he always gives it all. He's like dead when we go off stage. He's like sweating like, I don't know, 5 liters of sweat or something, like he's from the shower or something. He always sings so well in live shows. Many singers can sound incredible on the album, but then the live situations like cause big problems for them. Like, with all respect to my like favorite heavy metal singer Rob Halford, great stuff on Painkiller, but it's really tough like pull it off live, like what I've seen from from the bootlegs and official recordings. I'm not trying to say anything bad, but just as a reference what I'm talking about. And Giannis, he can do like justice for the songs live as well. So I mean, sounding like staying loyal to the originals in live, but he actually adds sometimes even crazier stuff in his live versions. It's like crazy stuff, insane. Like, what the hell? In Blood of a Lion, for example, in the ending, he adds some high notes every now and then, like which are not there on the album. And he just feels like it, and he's really giving it all. And incredible guy.
That's insane. Like, he's quickly become one of my favorite vocalists. So he's, insane. That when the hell are we going to see you guys down here?
Yeah, we'd love to. Trust me. I think there's two correct ways to do it when you are a newbie as a band and you have new territories to conquer. The correct way would be either to support some big band there on a tour, or come to play at some big festivals, because you have to make yourselves first known to the wide audience. You cannot jump into the cold water, like do your own headline tour there from scratch, because either in that case you will end up playing for 20 people in small clubs. So we are looking for that kind of a opportunity when there is some like good chance for us to support, and we will definitely take it, and hopefully it's going to happen soon.
I definitely hope so too, brother. But in the meantime, you got this big tour coming up and the album coming out on February 8. It's a big year, man. Kicking off, all systems go.
Yeah, indeed it is. Like, working our asses off all the time here. It's lots of going on, but it's a good thing. Like, it's a sign that we're on the right track.
Absolutely, mate. Well, I do appreciate you taking the time to talk metal, and of course the nerdy stuff too, because I love that stuff.
That's the best stuff. The geek inside me is very strong.
Yeah, me too. It's a metal thing, okay. I think. Yeah.
All right.
Well, dude, hopefully we'll get to see you down here soon. Say hello to all the boys and all the best. And we'll see you soon, bro.
All right. Thank you. Great talk. So take care, man.